Yes, very good morning to all of you. After 3 days, we have been meeting for this particular class since I'm in busy work. Uh, so I haven't taken classes for Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Of course, Tuesday also. So today, I'd like to continue with one very important concept. Very important concept. So that concept might be this one here. Already we have completed locking planarity and the lock types. Practically, we have taken what are the different kinds of locks which are available with us and how the conflicts are being available. Everything has been seen. Today, we'd like to complete this particular concept. Of course, yesterday, I mean, in the previous session, we have seen the deadlocks also using lock mechanism, how deadlocks are being acquired. Of course, it has been seen. Of course, theoretically, I'd like to explain in the next class. So, up to this moment, so two-phase locking protocol to ensuring so the serializability. What does the particular point will be? So before going to take the serializability, what exactly the two-phase locking will be, and how the two-phase locking is being evaluated, and how it could be ensured for serializability. These are the points which we have to consider here. Okay, and let us take without any wasting of time. Let us consider our class today. So look at this two-phase locking mechanism for ensuring serializability. What exactly two-phase locking here in the sense? We have already studied or seen about this particular two-phase locking protocol. That protocol is a shared lock and exclusive lock. Already we have seen. Theoretically, these will be considered as a read lock and a write lock as far as theoretical point of view. These are considered as a read lock and a write locks. And in practical approach, they are called as a share lock and the exclusive lock. Let us go ahead and have say what are the points which we have to consider here. So normally, two-phase locking protocol will be also called as a TPL, otherwise P2L. So you do not be confused regarding to these words. 2PL, two-phase locking protocol, otherwise phase 2 locking. So any one of these are correct only. So in our examinations or somewhere else you heard these kind of questions. Explain about 2PL or explain about P2L. So everything will be same. What we are supposed to going to discuss today, that could be the same. Okay. In this type, in this particular protocol, what exactly it could be done? The basic operation which could be done by this particular protocol is very peculiar. The peculiarity will be this transaction must be acquire a lock, and after it releases of its locks. Okay, so this protocol, let me explain this particular sentence for you. So before going to unlock, if you want to read some, let me say there is one particular item that is A is one particular item which you are interested to read from the database, and the B is another item which is interested by you. C is another item, and the D is another item. 4 items are there with me, for example. 4 items are there with me. I'd like to process these 4 items through the database, and and these 4 items are supposed to be read from the database. I mean, fetch the data from the database, and you have to perform some kind of operation on those items. I mean, updation could be happen, and after updating, you have to make that particular operations permanent by applying commit. These are the specific operations which you have to consider on any databases here. Now, in this particular two-phase locking, what exactly it could be? What exactly this particular sentence could be here in the sense? So, before reading, you must be acquire a read lock. After read lock, you have to read, and then before writing, so you must acquire write lock. After acquiring this particular write lock, yes, you have to operate your write operation onto the database. After considering or after completion of writing of that particular thing, then you have to start so unlocking. Okay, then you have to start unlocking. So what exactly you are supposed to specify this particular two-phase locking here in the sense, all read locks will be consecutive, all write locks will be consecutive, and these read locks and write locks must be before first unlock, must be before first unlock. Once you have to operate unlock, you are not allowed to take read or write locks again. So that is the protocol. Hope that you understand. So four items are there here. So read lock of let me say RL of A has been taken. So then RL of B so has been taken. RL of C has been taken. Read lock of so C also so has been taken. Read lock of D also has been taken. All read locks have been applied by you at once. Previously, so what you did here, you have freedom to operate read locks at any variance. Okay, after completion of the operation on A, you maybe go ahead with B. I mean A in the sense read lock A, read item, write lock A, write item, something like that. After completely evaluated of A, what exactly you are trying to do, then you will go ahead with B. Read lock on B, and then do some kind of read item and do some kind of updation followed by write lock. Let me give you by taking notepad here. So then you could understand, probably you could understand very easily. So A, there are four items, A, B, C, and D. Four items are there with me. So all these four items, wait for a while. I'll go ahead with this one. Okay, so four items are there with me. So previously, what you are supposed to do in our so-called transaction will be, so this is the way you did in the previous kind of designing of the transaction here. Okay, so read lock, uh, read underscore lock of A. First of all, you may be perform this particular operation. Then read item. So A, you may be taken your value something like this. After that, you have to perform your updation operation. A will be equal to A minus 100. However, whatever the operation doesn't matter for us here. But applying locks and releasing locks are very important here. Okay, a read item, so-called A has been run by me and perform some kind of operation over here. After that, taken, so the write lock has been acquired here. So write underscore lock of A has been taken, and then followed by you may be write item. Yes, item has been written onto the same place, and then you may be unlock of A. So this is what about the information regarding to complete information regarding to one particular item from the database. And the second item in the sense you may be perform a read item B and then write item B. So B will be equal to B plus some. However, whatever the operation you could consider here, B plus 50 and write lock B and write item B and unlock. In this way, you may be gets operated here. In this way, you may be gets operated here. Of course, for C also, for D also, for how many number of database items are there with you, all those items are supposed to be so gets operated individually, something like this. Then this is not called as two-phase locking. This is general operation of a transaction. Then what could you say, what is the two-phase locking here? How the two-phase locking could be gets operated here? Let me explain. In two-phase locking, what exactly we are trying to do here is, so before going to read the items, for example, four items are there, four database items are there with you, A, B, C, D. So read lock of A, followed by, again, you have to operate so many number of read items. So read locks here, read lock of B, read lock of C, and read lock of D. All reading locks will be, read locks will be, share locks will be, practically share lock will be gets operated by you at once. After completion of this one, what exactly we are trying to do? So you have to read the items. Of course, order might be at our own, but read item. So items. So all read items will be available at the same place. Read item A, read item B, read item C, and read item D. Yes, everything has been read. Now you could operate your own operation. So A will be equal to A plus 100. Of course, I'd like to write a generic kind of thing. B will be equal to B minus some 150, and then C will be equal to C plus 50, and then D will be equal to D into, okay, D plus D into, so 1.5 percentage, something like this. What else the operations could be? It could be done here. After performing this one, then what exactly we are trying to perform here is, you must be acquire all write logs. You must be acquire all write logs at once. All write logs at once. Write log A and write log B, write log C, and write log D. Okay, all write logs will be so acquired at one particular place. After this, what exactly we are trying to perform? You have to write back that particular item. So after acquiring the write logs here, write item A, write item B, write item C, and write item D. All these things will be written onto items in the local buffer. After this, I hope that you people have understood up to this moment. All these things will be here. The transaction will be get started here. Begin. So transaction. Okay. So all read logs will be acquired at this place. All write logs will be acquired in this place. Sorry. Here. Yeah. All write logs will be gets acquired at this particular place. After that, you have written that particular item onto the local buffer at this place. After this one, so after local buffer has been taken the values by you or by the transaction, then you are eligible to operate unlock. Okay, unlock of A. After one unlock, for example, after one unlock, so if you are supposed to operate any log items, let me say read or write logs, then that is not under, two-phase logging. For example, here, so read underscore log of A. After unlocking of A, read underscore log of A will be gets operated by you. Then this total transaction cannot be say in two-phase logging. Okay, this total transaction cannot be say in two-phase locking. So all read logs and all write logs will be at one particular place. After first unlock, you never ever can take in so one more read log. For example, after completion of these four items, yes, one more item has been coming to picture, which will be operated within the same transaction. For example, okay, after completion of A has been modified, B has been modified, C has been modified, and D also be modified, and you have been operated unlocks also. One more item is there with you, your superior has given. So E as one more item, please include that particular E in this particular transaction only. We would ask such kind of requisition for you. What exactly we are trying to do? So you may be perform all these operations. I mean, on that particular E, you may be performed after unlock, you may be performed. So, for example, on read lock of E, read item, and E will be equal to something, whatever the operation you could perform. So, E and unlock of E. So, after this one, within the same transaction, after this one, after all unlocks, if you acquire either share lock or exclusive lock, then this protocol is not in two-phase locking protocol. Okay. After doing this particular thing, if you want to acquire read lock item for another database item, then you have to write a separate transaction only. Do not include within this particular transaction. Okay. So that is what you need to remember here. So what exactly I would like to convey here is, so all read logs will be gets acquired at one particular place, and you have to read the items at one particular place, and you have to perform the operation at one particular place, and all write logs are supposed to be acquired at one particular place, and then all write items could be done at one particular place, and all unlocks will be there at one particular place. This would be two-phase locking. Two-phase locking protocol, in the sense, this is called as two-phase locking. Two-phase locking protocol means after applying a unlock, whatever the item it might be, after applying first unlock, you were not allowed to take either share lock or exclusive lock. Let me say, and theoretically, you were not allowed to operate either read lock or write lock. If you do so, then that is not in two-phase locking protocol. Okay, so that is what the point you need to understand here. Okay, then we'll move to this one. Next, what exactly the points will be. So that is what the meaning of this particular acquire locking after release one of its lock. Okay, that is the meaning of this one here. This locking protocol divides this total execution phase will in three different ways. Part number one will be in the first phase. What exactly the first phase will be? When the transaction begins to execute, it requires the permission for the lock on the item which it needs. What I have explained just before. Similarly, so before going to make some kind of modifications on the item, before that you have to accept the locks. Yes, locks has been there with you. Then second part will be, so when transaction will be obtain the locks, then transaction release its locks, then it will be start the third lock here, third phase here. Third phase, so transaction cannot demand to new locks after release at least one lock or one first lock or one lock. Okay, you could consider as first lock or one lock. First unlock will be taken by you. Once a transaction will be releases its first lock, then you are not you cannot demand for any other new locks. That's what I have explained to you. Okay, so it can be only releases the acquired locks. Previously, what kind of locks you have been acquired, those locks will be gets released only after first lock will be released or after first unlock will be happen. So consecutive statements must be only unlocks, but not any other statements. These are the three different types of operations which could be done when two-phase locking protocol will be done here. Then what exactly two-phase locking will be? Two-phase locking will be done in two steps. Step number one, growing phase. So in the growing phase, what exactly it could be done here in the sense, it may acquire or it may obtain all locks. It may obtain all locks. Second thing is shrinking phase. Once the shrinking phase will be get started, you are so release, otherwise unlock the items, and you are not allowed to take any new locks. You are not allowed to take any new locks. Once the first lock will be gets released, all these three different phases will be divided into two steps. First, step number one will be growing phase. Step number two will be shrinking phase. In growing phase, all locks are being acquired and you have to perform your operation. In shrinking phase, you have to release the locks. You are not supposed to acquire new locks, or you are not supposed to take any read lock or write lock after first unlock. Okay, that is called as shrinking phase. And because of these two phases, growing phase and shrinking phase, yes, so it could be given serializability. Okay, let me give you what is this serializability before ending of this particular class. Okay, but it is not ensured that deadlock could not be happen. Deadlock may be happen. Deadlock may be happen, but serializability will be done. Okay, serializability must be done during execution of a two-phase locking on database items. Okay, now let us see. So these are the different operations here. What exactly this could be done here is, so item A will be increases by 1.5, and item B will be added. I mean, after increasing of item A, the B will be gets added together, and they will be returned back. Okay, in transaction T1, it could be done. In transaction T2, what exactly it could be done? Item A will be added. So what is that? So 1500, and item B will be increased by 0.75, 0.75%. Okay. Now here let us do, or let us examine what are the growing phase. I mean, what are the statements which are under growing phase, and what are the statements which are under shrinking phase. Look at this. This is the starting of your transaction here. So right away from this particular place to this particular place, right away from this particular place to this particular place. So it is called as the growing phase. Growing phase in the sense, in the beginning, you are interested to acquire the logs and performing some kind of operations on the so particular wait for a while, not exactly this particular position. So it could be comes under this position. Oh, sorry. One moment, please. Yeah, up to this phase, up to this area, it is called as the growing phase. Okay, it could be considered as the growing phase, and right away from this place to this place, it is called as shrinking phase. So right away from this place to this place, these two statements will be called as shrinking phase. Look at this. After taking first unlock, this transaction never requires or never requested for any other lags. Okay, that is what you need to understand here. So here, what exactly you are trying to perform? So acquire the lock. Look at this. This is acquire the lock. It's also acquire a share lock. After this one, it could be performed. Wait for a while. So here, it has been acquired the lock here, and it is also been acquired the lock. So in between these two, it has been performed some kind of read item, and afterwards it is read item, and actual operation could be done. So during this area, after actual operation has been done. This is actual, so operation. Okay, this is actual operation. After that, it has been acquired two different types of locks here. Again, these are so exclusive locks have been acquired here, and this is again so writing back those items. Then shrinking phase will be get started. So in growing phase, number one, share lock will be gets acquired. Number two, actual operation could be done. Number three, write lock is being gets operated. I mean, write lock will be gets acquired. Number four, the items will be returned back to the local buffer. These four operations will be done here. Number one, first operation could be operation number one could be this one here. Operation number one will be so acquiring all read locks. How many number of read locks will be there with you? Then you have to read the items, whatever the number of items you are interested to read. Number three, operations, actual operations, let me consider it as updation. So update operation will be done by you. Number four, so write lock will be gets operated. Write lock, LOCK, write lock will be gets operated. Number five, what exactly number five will be? So write items could be gets operated. So these are the five operations which will be done at the growing phase. Okay, you have to take the read locks, read items, updations, write lock, write items. This will be gets operated. Once shrinking lock will be done, in shrinking lock, you please observe here, in shrinking lock, only unlocks will be there. Only unlocks will be there here. No, there is no reading lock or writing lock. Operations could not be performed. Anything shall not be done here. So growing phase will be again divided into 5 different types of phases. Okay, and the shrinking phase will be only one, that is unlocking. Unlocking of the items here. So these are the different operations which could be done in two-phase locking protocol. If the things will be seen in this way, then it is called as two-phase locking. Otherwise, it is not a two-phase locking. And like, let us pictorially, we would like to see. So let me show you this one using some pictorial representation here. Then you could understand. So here, totally 8 different types of operations will be done. Your transaction has been get started here. Your transaction has been get started here. After starting, you are trying to, let me consider this particular color code will be locks. Okay. So locks has been taken. Okay. Then these are trying to take, I mean, these are read lock, more specifically, these are read locks. And these are items, reading items, for example, reading items. And this is the phase where exactly you have did your actual operation. Actual operation in the sense, updations or any other. Updations or modifications, whatever the operations will be. And after taking these operations, this will be comes under, so right locks will be taken. After this, write items will be done, and this is unlock operation. So during this particular portion, what you need to understand right away from here to here, what exactly we are trying to do, you are taking the locks. You are taking the locks. You are acquiring the locks. ACQ. Acquiring the locks. And from here to here, 5 to 8. So sorry, not 5 to 8. 5 to 7. I could say 5 to 7, up to 5 to 7, what exactly we are trying to perform here is you are writing or writing onto the specific database item, and similarly you are trying to perform, so writing back to the local area. Then this particular place to this place, what we are trying to perform here is, from here to here is releases the lock. Releases the lock. And whatever the space which could be available for right away from 4 to 5, this place will be strictly held up the locks. Locks are holding by the transaction. Okay, that is what you need to understand. That is what you need to understand. So simply speaking, what exactly we are trying to perform here is, after starting your transaction, read locks are being taken into consideration, followed by read items could be taken, then actual operation could be done by you, then followed by, so write locks will be taken into consideration. So actually this is W, I'm very sorry. This is write locks and write items will be took place here. Okay, will be so taken place over there. And then after writing items will be done by you. These are write locks and these are write items. After writing operations will be done by you, obviously unlocks will be get started. During releasing of one particular lock, no other locks will be taken, or no read items, read locks or write locks cannot be taken here. Then this is called as two-phase locking protocol. This two-phase locking protocol is very much important or very much useful for you while executing batch processing system in our databases. So this is what about the two-phase locking mechanism which could be done. So we shall be continue with deadlocks by tomorrow, and then concurrency control with the time stamping. So here in two-phase locking also, sometimes starvation could be gets occurred. So because of starvation, concurrency control with the time stamping has been introduced. That is wait and die and wound and wait. Two schemes are there here. These two schemes could be taken into consideration. So what are the different items or different, possibilities to have deadlock? Number one, what is starvation in transactions? Number two, and then so timestamp ordering kind of protocol, that is wait and die, wound and wait. So these two. So these four items will be discussed by tomorrow. And tomorrow we shall finish off this concurrency control. Of course, database recovery is another actual chapter in our database management system books. This is actual separate chapter. So concurrency control will be gets completed by tomorrow. Okay, we shall everything must be completed by tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow we shall finish off unit number 5. Okay, so that is what the class today. Just wait for a while. Thank you.